Yeah. So basically, that will be fast. Okay, there will be only a few guidelines. One is that how many are we? 1, 2, 3, 4. Chino is also part. We're gonna be able to ask you questions depending on your presentation, and maybe some questions that you failed to present. The mechanics is basic. You will be given 1 minute to think and 1 minute to answer. That's it. If by chance the panelist gives you a harder question, the maximum time allowed will be for 2 minutes to think. 1 minute 30 minutes to answer. Okay, so we will give you if it's a minute or 2 minutes to think. Basically, you need to think fast, concise, and stay to the point. Okay. So for the first question,
Okay, so for Annika and Chad, since both of you are running for Paris, so this is not necessarily a question, but as the LCDP of PM, usually you are the host or the agenda manager during GAs. So imagine that this is our first LBOS, and this is the new members of ISEC, potential new members of ISEC PNP, everyone. So how will you sell ISEC to us? So I want an on-app specific thing that you will say. Everyone is unaware of what ISEC is. How will you sell ISEC? And it's LBOS. But LBOS happens before application.
Cesar, can you give them paper?
Okay, Chad.
Harap na harap. Ito tingnan.
Good luck, guys. We have 30 more seconds left.
Sikap magaling makan. Deep siya.
Seconds. Okay, comes up. Well, 1 minute's up.
So, given the situation, that was, I would probably say that, as in, sample.
Take
So,
two.
kunyari may, okay, so, what's ISEC? So, ISEC is a platform for young leaders and young students such as ourselves that develops and explores our leadership potential. Along with this, since that we are a part of ISEC in the Philippines, here in ISEC UAMT, we want to promote the culture of camaraderie and professionalism. And those two parts were borrowed from my previous VP, which enabled the LC now to become a stronger and a stronger and a more stabilized ICT community. So with that, I want you guys to find the reason why you wanted to join. And because of that, ICT will help you get to know the real you.
Okay, time's up. 1 minute.
Get to know the real you.
What's that for?
I think these are kind of things.
Yes. Just a clarification, it will be a simulation. So imagine this is the elements. What do you say? How you
We are applicants.
That's
Imagine this was the actual campus. So how will you promote that?
Okay, ready? 1 minute starts. It's gonna be
I have some bugs outside, so it's more
Yeah. So basically, what I want to do is, I don't want it to be sport run because people won't really get the info.
You do it.
Do it. As in,
we're new members.
Like you're the MVP now.
yes.
Okay lang.
Imagine you're a VP. Okay.
You're talking to us as
Okay.
new
It's okay. It's okay.
science.
To think? I think it's here. You didn't know. Okay. So I'll give you 1 minute to think. Do you need paper? Yeah. Okay.
Sa likod ata ng... Yes, ah.
You have 30 seconds. So hi guys, good morning, good afternoon applicants. My name is Chad Reyes. I'm the CDP for basically, ISEC is not a profit organization. It aims to develop people who have potential, and it's a platform for developing people who need. It's a platform for those people who want to develop themselves fully. And it's also a platform for the people to know who they are. Because this is where I found myself. This is where I found my strengths and weaknesses. Where I discovered my strengths and weaknesses. And I guess to all of you, I think this, what I can give you, provide you the necessary information about yourself, to know who you are, to know what you can do in your life. And I really found what I want. This is what I want to develop people, and as I develop people, I develop myself, and that's what I want to importantly. That's what ISEC wants to give.
I have a question for Deon. You said you showed us your structure, right? Can you expound your team leaders? Can you tell them can you tell us their roles? Because I didn't see what roles they are gonna do. So yeah.
Okay, so your 1 minute thing starts now.
Yes, sir. You have 30 seconds. Okay, 20 minutes.
For the team leaders, I assign mostly the experienced members to be team leaders because they're the ones who are actually already working for OGs, OGMs or OGCDP. And as the team leaders, they serve
Specific
as mentors for the team members. And they teach them how the process goes, how they should conduct the whole process with the EPs. And basically mentors. And they track whatever they do for the department. Just a follow-up question for Deon again. What specific JD would you assign your team leaders, given that you said that you're doing the old members? So what would be their main JDs as the team leaders of OGC? Job description.
Okay, so your 1 minute to think begins now.
Or OC. OCP. Gusto ko lang yung madali eh. Lul.
Okay, Deon.
As for the job description, it seems what they're, like I said earlier, they'll teach them they'll be the ones who are teaching the building blocks. So let's say they're the members who are assigned to teach the new members on how things are done within the department. Thank you.
Okay. Next question, please.
I have a question for Timothy, for Daji. Okay, so they say, well actually the reality is F&A, they say is the right hand of the LCP in terms of goals. And oftentimes, you're the antagonist of the ED because at the start of the term, you create goals, numerical goals. So you base your computation, you base your budget based from that goal. And oftentimes, those goals aren't met by the DPs. So how would you ensure that you create a professional at the same time personal relationship with them? Yeah.
In terms of the financial or
In terms of finance.
Okay, so you 1 minute to think. Starts now. Seconds. No.
Time's up. I believe that finance is a side thing, not a boss to the other department. So I'm open to suggestions on their goals, like how many exchange participants, how many recruitment. I will not go there and tell them that you have to meet this, that you have to get that number of persons, that number of revenue. Because maybe I'm unrealistic. I want to do their suggestions. I want to know what their realistic goals is. I don't want to set up any goals that are not attainable. For me, business is business. I don't want my personal life or my friendship to mess up with business. So, but at the end of the day, we're still friends. But if it comes to Isaac, what's best for Isaac is best for Isaac, and what's best for friendship is going after the work is said and done.
Okay, time's up. By the way, candidates, if you have anything to clarify, just ask the questioner, then we'll clarify. Okay, next question, please. Okay, Chino from the MC.
Alright, so this is for Annika and Chad. You don't have to go out with the other ones to answer. You set around very strict goals in terms of sign-ups, in terms of the new members that you will get. So for Annika, that's 300 and then 70 new members. That's a gap of 230. And for Chad, that's 250, and then you wanted 65 new members. That's a gap of 185. Now, experiences in before is that when you set like strict numerical goals like this, you're gonna reject. Think of it, you're not gonna accept 65 members, but you're gonna reject 185 people. And usually, this leads to a small amount of detractors, because or like non-believers. Why did they reject me? Am I not good enough for Isaac? So for Chad, that's 185, and Annika, that's 230. Now, this is a common problem in all LCs, getting these detractors who weren't accepted into Isaac. Yes, it's according to our goal for us to get like 70 or 65 members. But how will you, this is a question, how will you remedy that situation where you get detractors from the rejection, and what will be your action steps? Alright, so you will get detractors if you reject people, because if you don't explain it to them well, that your goal is just 70 people or 65 people, you're gonna just reject 230 people or 185 people, right? So you'll get detractors from that. Now, how do you remedy this situation? What will you tell them? What will be your action steps after that?
Okay, so your 1 minute begins now.
Taking consideration that it's almost 10% of your student population that you're gonna reject.
Okay, the rest of your minute continues.
You should.
10 seconds, guys. Okay, so since Annika answered first last round, we'll have Chad answer first.
So basically, my strategy for that course, basically, I want to have an exit interview, for those people who were not accepted, basically, to inform them about what is needed now, basically. So basically, the goals of Isaac now is not to explain them that the goals of Isaac now is not is limited to only those people who were accepted. Just to give them clarification why are they not accepted in ISEC basically. So aside from that, also I'll motivate them, continue to motivate them that there's not only the opportunity given to a person. There are a lot of opportunities outside ISEC, and basically this is not basically for them. And maybe there are outside factors, outside things that they need to discover. And basically that's it.
Okay. Next, Annika, please.
So, based on my experiences, I've had many people ask me, why wasn't I accepted? And my answer was, to be honest, we really can't afford to accommodate everyone since that we're going for a higher percentage rate, honestly, of people who will become active members and who are willing to stay in ISEC in the long run. So, basically what I told them was, I'm really sorry that we can't accept you, but I'm willing to make time for each and every one of you for me to personally become your mentor or some sort. If ever you're still interested in reapplying next year, then I look forward to that. So my action steps was first to really get to know and to ask why were you in a way inspired to be in ISEC, and will you still see yourself in the long run? Here it is.
Thank you. Okay, just we're on the same page. You have 25 minutes left. That gives us about 20 questions. So next question. Realistically, like 20 questions.
Scared. Follow up lang. Because you quite, that you want to give like yung mataas na number percentage for active members. Can you give me specific actions on how you can, like, apart with or how you can achieve the 90 and 80% of active members?
Okay, so 1 minute begins now.
Sa FFA, usually para mga budget, di ba yung mga members nila, alam,
Calculate.
calculate ng budget, tapos parang kukulit yung mga other department. Di ba kasi gusto na maging productive yung department, yung finance. I mean, kung yun lang yung gagawin, paano niya i-maintain na basic pa din yung department yung parang yung gusto. Di ba?
30 seconds, guys.
Sabi mo yung reality.
How will you keep, yun yung parang,
Usually.
Okay, time's up. So, Annika, please go first this time.
So basically for me, it's really not all about leadership. So of course we need to focus on social responsibility of our members also. So for that, I also want to emphasize on the outreach activity, which in turn will, I hope that will motivate and inspire the future members to be more aware of the issues today in our society. Should also we get the right people at the right time, know how to motivate new members, then I guess you won't have a problem with them dealing with lack of activities. Because since that they have a personal goal becoming one of the potential leaders in ISEC. So yeah.
Okay, Chad.
So basically my strategy for that is specifically to have team building sessions. And I know for a fact that team building sessions strengthens the relationship, the bond between the members of ISEC. And with that, they will be able to know each other, they will know more about working with each other. And that's important for an ISEC team, to be a team, basically. And also to keep them motivated and inspired. Team buildings are there to keep them motivated, to lessen their stress. And also celebrate holidays as team buildings like Christmas parties, etc. For those, and lastly, of course, buildings are really important for keeping members engaged in active activities so that they will feel that, okay, I'm part of ISEC, I'm still part of ISEC. That's important. We know that you're still part of ISEC. That's important. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next question, please. Okay.
I have a question for Taj. Yeah, so given the reality, the FLA is usually a one-man team. And then one of your team cultures, you wanted to have a team that is productive, right? So if there are idle months, like usually you will just set the budget, the goals. How will you make sure that your team will be productive? Like what kind of, a follow-up for that question, like what kind of warnings will you give them to motivate them to be active again?
Okay, so your 1 minute begins now.
It has two ways to keep the finance team ready for everything. I have came up with my presentation. I have the creative ways of earning. I want them to think of ways to increase our budget, to increase our cash flows. We're not just gonna focus on the normal things such as the OGX. I want to see what the potential of my team members on ways that they can think of to increase our budget. Another one is we have projections. I want them to see and I want them to depict what will happen to our projections from the start of the year, and are we attaining it or is it on a decline? So basically, I will set up monthly reports on if we are meeting goals or if we are meeting the standards in order for us to keep track of the things at the end for the end of the year.
Okay. Sorry. Time's up. Thank you. Next question, please.
So are you aware that the elections now will be through a selection pool, meaning you're running for example, FLA, but there's a chance that you will be allocated to TM. So given that reality, what other two, if you make it to the selection pool, what other two departments are you willing to take, and what are your achievements for each two departments that you're willing? For example, that you already achieved. For example, in my CX, I was a driver, pero we get more than
As in yung lead position.
VP position. Meaning if you say that, you're really willing to be allocated there. No hard feelings.
Mix will take this in consideration.
Okay, so your 1 minute begins now.
Nico.
Yeah.
30 seconds, guys.
That's a good question.
Saan niyo makukuha yung
Hindi ka tanong.
Okay, time's up. So let's have Deon answer first, and then from Deon, Chad, Annika, and then Annika. So Deon, please.
The alternative that they are, so the alternative that they have is ICX.
mga OGCT?
When I was in the ICX department, I always servicing and really monitoring on tracing. Then when I was in servicing, I got to stop a lot of emails and it's very basic. Inside asking for that. There, there we go.
It's okay if you just mention one. You should only mention what you're really doing. They won't accept.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you, Deon. Next, Chad, please.
So basically, I'm not good at designing and I'm not good at numbers. So I'll be focusing on ICX, IGC. There's not, but not as a person like
Bakit kaya?
May
ICX, not good grasp, but bits of ICX because of kaya. I know the grammar there, basic matching, and also back then I was also they have cold calling, and I have experience in calling different people, different business firms for a certain event. That anyway, basically.
Okay, thank you. Next, Annika, please.
So of course, my first choice would be PS. And you guys know why. So my next would be, of course, back.
Pagkano binayad mo? Pagkano binayad mo?
It is true growth and learning. If you're given the opportunity to do something that you're not familiar with, and seeing back department today, it's like com department. So I'm really not familiar with the structure or what you guys do anymore. So parang I'm ready to go back to my communication roots and work everything out from the beginning.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Annika. Next.
Yeah, for me, aside from finance, I would go for OGX because I have been on both sides. I've been an exchange participant as well as the one who's handling the account. So basically, I know what an EB and what an EB feels like, what they want, what they deserve, as well as I'm the one who's handling their accounts. I know how to handle them, based on their needs and wants in and out of the country. So I'm going for OGX.
For Deon and Daddy, what specifically can I say for OJ?
If you do your GIE, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next question, please.
I have a question for the leader. Sorry. Given that OGCDP is a very low-profile department, now that you will be splitting away from OGX, and secondly, another problem of OGX in general is that it's not very much a pleasing department for people to go to. It takes time and effort to begin with, actually. So, given that your timeline focuses only on few months, and the other months will be purely ideal, let's say. So, what do you plan to do to keep member retention rate and active members all throughout the year? Given that you will separate it from OGIP, which is a whole year program for ISIS. So, what would be your concrete steps on that? So, member activity and member retention rate for OGCDP in particular.
Okay, unless you have any clarifications, then your 1 minute starts now.
Ilan ka na?
70%.
Lagi na lang.
And the department.
I'm not sure if it's possible kasi kahit monthly nga hindi yan. Paano ano yung action steps na dito? Medyo okay pa siya. Maganda siya pero it's possible.